Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Every time you check your bank account, send a private message, or buy something online, you're using an invisible shield that protects your digital life. This shield is cryptography, the science of secret communication. Its story isn't just about computers. It's a multi-thousand-year-long intellectual arms race, a story of human ingenuity that has shaped empires, decided wars, and is now pushing us into a bizarre new reality. Today, we're going on a journey from Spartan batons to quantum bits to trace the epic evolution of secrecy. The desire to hide information is as old as the need to share it. The first hints appear around 1900 BC in Egypt, with unusual hieroglyphs on a tomb, and later in Mesopotamia, where a scribe used a cipher to protect a secret recipe for pottery glaze, an early form of trade secret protection. But the science really got started with the military. Take the Spartans. Around the 5th century BC, they used a device called a scytale. Imagine a wooden baton of a very specific thickness. A sender would wrap a strip of parchment around it and write a message lengthwise. When unwrapped, the letters on the strip would be a meaningless jumble. To read it, the recipient needed an identical baton. They'd wrap the strip around their matching rod, and the letters would realign to reveal the original message. This is a transposition cipher. The letters are rearranged, not replaced. Its security relied entirely on a shared secret, the diameter of the baton. This established a core principle: sender and receiver must share a secret key. Then came perhaps the most famous ancient cipher used by Julius Caesar. The Caesar cipher is a substitution cipher. He would simply shift every letter of the alphabet by a fixed number of places. For example, with a shift of 3, A becomes D, B becomes E, and so on. To his enemies, most of whom were illiterate, any captured message was just gibberish. But its simplicity was its weakness. There are only 25 possible shifts, so an attacker could just try them all until a coherent message appeared. This is a brute force attack. For centuries, though, even simple ciphers like this worked. That all changed in the 9th century, thanks to a brilliant Arab polymath named Al-Kindi. In a groundbreaking manuscript, he described a method that would shatter the security of these ciphers: frequency analysis. Al-Kindi observed that in any language, some letters appear more often than others. In English, E is the most common, followed by T and A. By counting the symbols in an encrypted message, a codebreaker could make an educated guess. If the symbol X appeared most frequently, it probably stood for the letter E. By matching the frequency patterns of the ciphertext to the known patterns of the language, the code could be systematically broken without ever knowing the key. This was a monumental discovery, marking the true beginning of the arms race between codemakers and codebreakers. Al-Kindi's frequency analysis was devastating. For the next several hundred years, cryptographers searched for a counterattack. The breakthrough came during the Renaissance with the invention of the polyalphabetic cipher. The credit goes to a true Renaissance man, Leon Battista Alberti. Around 1467, he invented the first polyalphabetic system using a clever mechanical device, the cipher disk. It had two concentric copper disks. The outer disk had the standard alphabet, and the inner disk had a scrambled alphabet. To encrypt, you'd align the disks, but after a few letters you could rotate the inner disk, effectively switching to a brand new substitution alphabet. This flattened the frequency patterns. A single letter like E could now be encrypted as G, then P, then X, making frequency analysis useless. The idea was refined over the next century, culminating in what we call the Vigenère cipher. It uses a keyword to systematically switch between different Caesar ciphers. Imagine you want to encrypt the message "attack at dawn" with the keyword lemon. You repeat the keyword over the message, lemon, lemon. The first letter, A, is encrypted using the L row of a special grid. The second letter, T, using the E row, and so on. The same letter A in attack gets encrypted differently each time it appears. For nearly 300 years, the Vigenère cipher was considered unbreakable, earning the name the indecipherable cipher. But it too had a weakness. In the 19th century, Charles Babbage and later Friedrich Kossitzky figured out that repeating the key word created repeated patterns in the ciphertext. The distance between these repetitions could be used to figure out the length of the keyword. Once you knew the length, you could break the ciphertext into several smaller messages, each encrypted with a simple substitution cipher, and then use good old frequency analysis to solve them. The arms race continued. The 20th century electrified the battle. World War I saw an explosion in the use of codes, but it was the period leading into World War II that produced the most legendary cryptographic duel in history, the fight against the German Enigma machine. The Enigma was an electromechanical marvel. It looked like a typewriter in a wooden box, but inside was a complex system of rotors, or rotating wheels. When you pressed a key, say A, an electrical signal went through a series of 3 scrambling rotors. After each key press, the rotors would turn, changing the entire electrical path. This meant that if you typed A, you might get GQW. It created a polyalphabetic cipher with a period so long it was practically infinite. Add to that a plug board at the front, which let operators swap pairs of letters before the signal even entered the rotors. The total number of possible daily settings was over 150 quintillion. The Germans were utterly convinced it was unbreakable. The first crack in this unbreakable code didn't come from the British, but from Poland. As early as 1932, the Polish Cipher Bureau, led by 3 brilliant young mathematicians, Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Rositzky, and Henryk Zagalski, took a mathematical approach. Using sheer genius and a bit of intelligence from a French spy, Rejewski deduced the internal wiring of the rotors by exploiting a procedural flaw in how the Germans used the machine. This allowed the Poles to read German messages for years. Just before the invasion of Poland in 1939, in a secret meeting, they handed over all their research, replica machines, techniques, everything, to their British and French allies. It was the foundational gift upon which all later success was built. This brings us to Bletchley Park, the top-secret British code-breaking center, and the genius of Alan Turing. Building on the Poles' work, Turing designed an electromechanical machine called the bomb. The bomb didn't decrypt messages directly. Instead, it searched for the correct Enigma settings for the day. It worked by using a